I'm going to go live here, even though folks are watching. I want you to see this image here showing the snow moon is showing how it's beautifully orange. You know, this orange state. It is a reminder of the power of the sun. When we're looking at the moon in this state here, it is very close in terms of how the sun appears, aside from the craters that you see on the moon. And my suggestion is, in these last moments, in these final moments, really think about what is it that you want to make an intention to bring into your life, because then there's going to be a shift. And if you think there's not going to be a shift, think again about the way that the tides move. When we're thinking about tidal activity, we are thinking about how the earth is 75% water, okay? And if the earth is 75% water, it is to say that the human body is a microcosm of what's going on with the tidal motions and the seas. Because they belong on the earth and the water belongs in us, we are deeply connected to these aspects, okay? Because we're the same composition. We have this crude material that everyone seems to put the most importance into, like we put the most importance into land, and we often neglect what's going on with the water bodies on this planet. We also aren't paying a whole lot of attention, it seems, on average, to what goes on with the water in our body. Did you know that our blood is mostly water? It removes the impurities that are in our body that are running through. It allows us to have better distribution of oxygen in the body. And it allows us to be aware of what's going on with our health based on how the skin reacts, our largest organ. Yes, it is like the land masses on this planet, but there's a lot more going on. And when the full moon is active like this, most of the changes that are profound that have happened in our lives happen around this time. We don't know this necessarily because we're not associating it. But let me tell you, if the intentions of people who really want to survive in a Four Seasons environment have been placing their faith in the way that the moons cycle for thousands of years, that type of sequence of reinforcement simply through Lamarckism and the programming through our DNA will have a significant effect on us, no matter how disconnected we are, through technology, through the comforts of our own home, through the heat that comes in. And I want to tell you that you can still tap into that source of strength and power and potency just as before. And I suggest you do. So let's talk a little bit about today. I want to tell you a bit about my day because it was quite magical. If I can remember all of the sequence and it comes out together, it's going to sound really beautiful. I started this morning in Mexico City in Coyoacán, walking to the train station to head south. And as I was heading to the train station to head south, it's called the Light Train, and it goes all the way to this place called Xochimilco, which is one of the first agrarian sections of Mexico City, where there actually was hydroponic technology designed by the indigenous people here hundreds of years ago, if not arguably thousands of years ago. Hydroponic islands, in a way, that were created that are absolutely amazing. Anyway, while that exists still in small amounts at the place called Embarcaderos, which is where all the gondolas are that you may see in the movie Frida if you watch, which really isn't a historical account as much as it's just a historical fiction account of what the director thought was best to portray. But at least you get to see the Embarcaderos. And just outside of that, there's this beautiful plant market called Madre Selva, where I've been going for, which stands for the Mother's Jungle. And I've been going there for the past few weeks to purchase plants and seeds to better equip Womb, which is this artistic project which has been beautifully provided by Julie Turandot, who's from San Francisco, who's purchased this beautiful property in Mexico City and San Simon, and I have been slowly equipping the garden and setting up compost and greenhouse plants, just doing a lot of work on the plants end to bring medicinal plants to the space, as well as self-sustaining food products that will just continue giving and giving and giving for years to come. In any case, I started my morning walking en route to the light train, and I walked through this beautiful space called Ciudad Jardín, which is the Garden City. And as I'm walking through Garden City, I see this people working out early, and it's all resistance training. The way they've set this up is it's not like you'll see a lot of in the city. You sit down on a machine and your basic weight gives the resistance. There's some of that here, but it's more pull-up bars or rings, like Olympic rings, and ladders that you climb up, and crossbars, and just balance beams. And then there are these huge boulders that you lift up. And then there's tires that you use for shrugs. And I just stopped for a moment, started banging out some weights and feeling amazing about the process of just using what is in the environment in order to bring you the maximum benefit. And you could use the same weights over and over again. Your muscles are eventually going to adjust, and you're not going to reap the same benefits as you do in the beginning. That is because the muscles get used to the same movements and they adjust because they want it to be as comfortable as possible. But these elements make it so that it's uncomfortable for as long as possible. And I thought to myself, it would be great to interview some of these folks. So I'm planning on going by in the weeks to come and interview these folks and just ask them about their workout routine and what drew them to this place, and talk about the community and share it with you guys. In addition to that, so I hopped in the train ligero, and I paid attention to how much I had in credit on my card. And these numbers, of course, aligned with 3, 6, and 9, which I always love because it's usually a sign that you're moving in the right direction. So I went south, and earlier this week when I had gone to Madreselva, I had purchased these 2 ceremonial tobacco plants that were established, from what I was told, by the vendor, but they weren't there at the actual storefront, so I had to come back today in order to pick them up. And of course I wanted to do all this because the best time to receive is when the moon is waxing, which is increasing. And of course in about an hour here in Mexico City, it will no longer be waxing. So I knew that time was of the essence, and I wanted to make sure that I brought as much into my life as possible today before the change. So what I did was I went to the shop, and this man whose name is Ephraim, he was there, and he said, you know what, I don't have the plants. And it appeared as if he had forgotten. And one of the mistakes that I made was I paid him in advance. And you never really want to pay someone 100% in advance because they'll start to get lazy and not want to do the work. It's just a natural response that humans do. And so 50 down and 50 at the end is probably the furthest you want to go in terms of compensating someone. Anyway, I told him that, we had an agreement. I paid him in full, and he honored the agreement and went on his way walking to his home. And his son was there to kind of supervise the store, and he told me that, you should probably go walk around. So I went walking around, and I discovered in my process of walking around a number of medicinal plants, which it's probably safest that I do not mention some of them here on the stream, but I found them. And I found the vendors, and they were extremely kind. And all of these are going to be making my project in San Simon even stronger. As we start to turn this into a commercial space, which we're close, we will be using these medicinal plants in order to bring health to people. And it was all from me insisting that I receive these plants. So I did my round. I came back. I imagined receiving these beautiful ceremonial tobacco plants. I came back, and El Señor Ephraim was coming to arrive, and he handed me, and he said, I had to grab these quick. And what he did, because he had to run quick to his place, was he gave me one beautiful established plant and another one that looked scraggly, like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, but it wasn't scraggly. It was a mother plant. And if you don't know what a mother plant is, It's one that keeps giving you more and more sprouts and has established wood base. And you just pick off those semi-established sprouts, the growth that's tender, and then you replant that, and it removes having to grow things from seed. And if you've ever tried growing tobacco from seed, the seeds are absolutely microscopic. It looks like dust. And it requires a lot of humidity. The seeds have to sit right on the surface of the earth, of your potting material. And it requires a lot of humidity. And so for them to pop, you have to really create a greenhouse effect and have them get access to a lot of sun, which I've been doing. And I've had success with over 4 species of tobacco here in Mexico. And also now have this beautiful mother plant of a native Mexican from Cuernavaca, Mexican tobacco plant. So 5 species in total to create a beautiful blend as well as leaf coverings that are going to be used for ceremonial purposes. And if you haven't tried a pure tobacco strain, I'm talking if you haven't tried something that was grown organically, you have no idea what you're missing in terms of the effect that it has on the brain. This is what First Nations Native Americans were smoking out of a pipe and sharing, because it opens the aperture of your spiritual self immediately. It goes right to your lungs, it goes popping into your bloodstream, and it's something unlike anything else I've experienced. And so this is going to be something that we're going to be offering to people who are looking for perspective change and to heal. And I can't wait. I'm so excited. And this was a process of waiting. Anyway, I've been doing a lot of abundance work, and eventually, these types of nights when we talk about the snow moon, I can go into more spiritual aspects. And I will be sharing with you some of the magic techniques, but I've developed this beautiful magical mantra. And I don't know if I have it here. I'm trying to think if I had uploaded it yesterday into... let me see if I can put it in here. I'm going to just try to add a photo. We're going to see things go blank for a quick moment. And just bear with me. I'm going to call this I am. And you're going to hear my mic go out for a quick second. Just hang tight. It'll come right back. Okay, we're back. I'm going to add this image. I really want you to see this. I'm going to call this I am. And we're going to hopefully get a hold of this. I am. I know I had made, here's the diagram. So let's check this out. Let's check this out. You see this here? I put this together last night, and I'm really excited about it. So for those who have never dabbled in magic before or the celestial alphabet, here's your introduction. Basically what you want to do, and normally a lot of magic that's very potent is in Hebrew, and which you read from right to left. But in this case, with the celestial alphabet, you'll see these characters which I drew last night and scanned in, and you'll see above it says I am that, comma, I am. That has been written here in the celestial alphabet. Okay, so what does this all mean? Well, by looking at the celestial alphabet, we activate our initial connection with light. The celestial self is connected with what we would consider as Gnostics or whatever sort of belief system you would think of it as connection with the source, with light. And for scientists, they may be saying, this is hogwash. So be it. All I ask is that you take a look at these symbols. They're old. They've been used for thousands of years. And they have direct connection, at least with specific signs that are mathematical, and some signs that are orthographic, which have to do with language. So a combination of the two. And then you'll see there are a number of circles involved in this process and sharp angles. Okay, all is to say, this will connect you with your original source of light. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the magic process. And I'll go into this in more detail as we discuss Disney, which is, when you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are, Anything your heart desires will come true. Right? We've heard that a million times. That's all you hear now is that, because it's likely Disney doesn't want to empower every single person with that specific mantra, because it is extremely potent when you wish upon a star, when you think about the origin of the universe falling through your crown chakra, reaching your heart center, and empowering you to bring in whatever it is you're looking to bring into your life with this remaining hour that we have here, Central Time in Mexico City. But this is the process. I am that I am. This is the phrase that Moses claims he heard at Mount Sinai when observing the burning bush. And the burning bush spoke to him and said, I am that I am. What exactly does that mean? Well, let's look at it. This is Mount Sinai. You see it up above, the sun coming down. And though we don't see too much evidence of a burning bush, there's some indication of that in this card. This was the general idea that I wanted to portray. But it is the mirror of self. The burning bush, the mirror, the philosopher's stone, the personal image of perfection, and the fire above the head and the crown. You see the light entering in. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card that acts as a mini grimoire. What is a grimoire? It's a spell book. And by looking at this image and inviting this image into your mind, you are stating that you are connected not only to our earthly attachments, the things that bring us perhaps suffering in our lives, but as well, you are connected to that which brings us great fulfillment, fruit, and that which we deserve in our highest good. I am that which is full of attachments. I am light. Do you see the juxtaposition? It is the yin and yang, Ida and Pingala, masculine, feminine, giving, receiving, active, passive. I could go on ad infinitum. You understand that this has to do with the mirror image we have, the positive image that's saying we're okay. So it says that we were disconnected for a moment. And I was saying that it's the duality of life that's depicted in this. And I am that I am is directly connected with it. To say this mantra is to say, just as Moses understood, he was connecting with his highest good, his divine self. And the divine self said, I am that which you see, and I also am all of your doubts, all of your fear, all of your reservations. But why not give them to me, so that the reflection of light and you as a person entering this world of spirituality become closer to the origin. The closer we become to the origin, the more we can understand and tolerate the actions of others. The best example that I can give you is to think about your behavior around a small child. How is that? Well, it's pretty simple actually when you think about it. Let's say, and I want to go back to this I am for a second, so just bear with me. So let's just say you have taken a lot of time to make a beautiful meal. You've been in the kitchen working for a while. You cut all the vegetables perfectly. Everything is prepared. And you place it on a plate and you bring it over and you put the bib on your beautiful child and you place this very, very heartfelt meal that you put all your love and intention into, and they just toss it on the ground. It's all over the ground. Some of you may get upset, and some of you may look at the child and the child starts laughing, and you may laugh too. I would. Why is this? Imagine if I were, instead of it being a newborn or a toddler tossing the food, imagine if it were me, and you had just slaved over this meal and brought it in front of me and said, "Here you go, my love. Here is the meal." And I tossed it on the ground. Would you laugh at me? Would you treat me the same way? No. Why is that? Well, what you don't understand is happening subconsciously is that that newborn child is closer to the source of light. And the closer that you are to the source of light, the more tolerant you are of the behavior of others, and the less judgmental you shall be. And the quicker you'll be able to get over the hardships of life. That is why I give you I am that I am, which you're looking at. And that is why Shift 108 meditation exists and works, because it brings you back to the origin of light and connects you with the source so that you can be more tolerant, not only of others, but of yourself. To understand that your shortcomings are simply signs that it's time to make a change in your life. And this is how you do it. You don't have to worry. Offer light. Let it go. Move on to the place of action that you need to take in your life to start bringing new things in. It sounds simple. Sometimes it's difficult. That's why you get yourself a mala. And I have them now. They've come in from India. I've blessed them at the Basilica of Guadalupe. I have video of it that I'll be showing you eventually. Just get in touch with me. Send me an email at williamofthesun@gmail.com. That's williamofthesun, S-U-N, @gmail.com. And request that you would like a mala that's blessed at the Basilica of Guadalupe. Now, why have I blessed these malas at the Basilica of Guadalupe? It's very simple. These malas come from India, and they are made with tulsi, which is holy basil. It is highly protective, brings purity to life, brings tons of success to life, and it just is a beautiful energy. You will find tulsi that's established growing outside almost every single home in India. And what's also interesting is that the tulsi plant, holy basil, was found by the mother of Emperor Constantine at the site of Calvary where Jesus of Nazareth was crucified, growing in great abundance. And she took this to Rome and called this holy basil because it was a sacred plant, and it is. So I brought this over to the Basilica of Guadalupe, got holy water placed on each and every mala, and I've got 25 of them available for people. So get yours. You won't believe the impact that it has in combination with doing this meditation. And if you're looking at this celestial imprint right now, you are unlocking access to light. So you don't have to worry about it anymore. Or ever. You come from the origin of light, just as I do. We are reflections of one another. Don't you see? We come from the same beam. How could we not be one? I am that. I am. When you suffer, I suffer. I'd rather you not. Wouldn't you rather me not? We can work together. It starts by changing the mind. This practice works. I've worked on this for 20 years, in one way or another, through all of my professional service and human services, to make Shift 108 come to life, and to be as easy to use as Google. Google gives you a one line, you type in what you want to materialize, you press go, you press enter, and it materializes your information. I wanted it to be as easy as that. You offer light, you let it go, you got your plan, you're moving forward, change is happening. And there's no better time than to do this now, when there is just 50 minutes left before the full moon comes in, the snow moon, the hunter's moon. Why is it the hunter's moon? Well, not a whole lot of vegetation to find in the month of February in New England or in Minnesota or in an area where there's snow on the ground in Michigan. So you go hunting. And those who are going hunting, they likely were not eating for several days in a row. And the fasting process is an amazing, beneficial one that we often neglect. Everyone thinks I need to eat my 3 square meals a day. Why do they call them square? Don't be a square. Try fasting. Try feeling the hunger See how it motivates you to get something done. Plow through. We're talking about the human instinct that used to exist, paying attention with more focus on the signs and getting to that point where the hunt is successful. It's a very powerful practice. To fast, I would say try a combination of all these things. Talk to your doctor first. You know, who am I to assume that I know everyone's particular case? But I would say if you get the green light, give it a shot. You offer up what you would be eating for spiritual growth. That's powerful. Snow moon, February 9th, actually. Today is February 8th, but the snow moon's going to hit very soon. And so, when it does, make your intention as to what you feel you need to let go, whatever hardship it is, make space so that over the course of the next 2 weeks you can contemplate and decide what you're going to bring into your life after. But for now, really focus on this idea of letting go. It's a powerful practice. If you're fasting, you're letting go of the idea of eating. Do you see? It's very powerful. And what it does is it creates focus and the ability to find what you're really looking for. And there's no better accomplishment than that. And when you witness someone finding what they're looking for, congratulate them. That is offering love. When you feel confused, take a walk outside with that mala and work through 108 motions of recognizing life in your environment and offering light and letting go so that you can start to reprogram your mind so that it's not judging each and every time you see someone. Perhaps a scowl on their face. What would you used to think? And when I tell you, you do this with somebody else with you, by your side, with 2 malas, walking in silence, there's nothing more powerful for strengthening a couple. If you want to connect with the person that you love or the person that you're interested in, all you need to do is walk with them and do this practice. I tell you, in the matter of minutes, you'll feel closer with this person than you ever have before. And you'll do it in silence. It is extremely powerful. So, I'm going to do a quick check here to see if anyone in chat has been chiming in. And there has been nothing, which is fine. I don't mind that. I'm going to end the stream now to say thank you for tuning in. Happy full moon. I hope you've enjoyed looking at the moon with me and taking in perhaps some new ideas as we see the Owl of Minerva heading east. I want you to have all of these blessings come into your life. I want you to feel as if change is here. And I want you to think about what it is that you need to let go now that the moments of materializing are coming to an end. Pay attention to your thoughts and dreams and trust your intuition. This is a good opportunity to positively connect with others. Moon energy has everything to do with family and friends and loved ones. Moon energy has everything to do with recovery and the idea of healing. This receptive energy. Do you see that waterfall? Imagine just standing underneath that and letting it splash down and just remove all of the hardships that you've been harboring to allow them to fall away. There is a time for letting go. This is the time. Allow yourself that. Present yourself to the waterfall and feel change. Thanks for watching. I wish you a beautiful evening. Enjoy your Saturday with yourself, with your loved ones. And I'll see you on the flip side tomorrow. That's a promise. Take care now.